Tap into the minds of the innovators who challenge the status quo with new ideas, systems, and solutions. Welcome to Innovation Mavericks.
Welcome to Innovation Mavericks, brought to you by Five Plan Partners. I'm Greg Powell, President and CEO at Five Plan Partners. And several years ago, we decided to do Innovation Mavericks to highlight those individuals in business who are making a difference not only in their community and their industry, but also have innovated through different times or cutting edge to make a difference, to let people have a better way of life, or as I like to say, better, richer, fuller. With me today is Elliott Davis. Elliott, it's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
Oh, absolutely. You and I have had a lot of interaction together, and you are the owner and operator of Automatic Audio Video.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much. We're about 3 years in and just loving every minute of it.
Full disclosure here is I got introduced to you and started talking about the needs at our home for technology upgrade.
I'm a music guy. I love music. And that's really at the core of everything that we do is the music, the entertainment portion of the smart home, the audiovisual work.
Right.
And it started with my own house. So
Okay.
I started tinkering
Right.
and adding piece by piece, started with multi-room audio. So being able to listen to the same song throughout the whole house, adjust the volumes per room, that sort of thing. Not to get too much in the nitty gritty of it, but that's where it started. And people would come to the house and they would see that, you know, we could use our voice control to start music or control lights or TVs or whatever it may be. And they'd say, "Really, that's so cool. I wish I knew how to do that. Or I wish somebody would come to my house and do that."
Right.
So slowly there was more and more, you know, I guess it revealed itself as a big need, especially, I would say, especially with people 50 and up.
Yeah.
They just, people that
good
didn't grow
age.
up with the phone in their hand.
Right. Sure.
You know, they would just wish somebody would come over and help them. They want to take part in the technology and maybe have a smart home or at least have a little bit more technology in their house that's easy for them to use.
Right.
And so that's where I saw the need was. And so that's how it started. Yeah.
Well, you had my full attention when you came in and redid our home, and it's been fantastic. And it's interesting when we're doing financial planning here at Five Plan Partners, and people go, "Well, I want to do some renovations, or we want to do some renovations to our home." I will look at them and I will say, "So what are you going to allocate for technology?" That's what a lot of people don't think about, especially 50 and older.
That's right.
And how the world is changing. And I think you do a great job putting it in terms that those of us that are older can understand why to do it. I also think from the standpoint, one of my rules, especially if you have adult children, make your home fun. Make it where they can have a lot of interaction, and technology is part of that. You agree?
Oh yeah, totally agree. It's a huge part of it. And, you know, there's something about that refresh, especially for the empty nesters or the, you know, people with kids in college.
Right.
They're not necessarily all the way empty nesters. Their kids are still going to come back and kind of, you know, recharge. They're going to, you know, plug in for a bit and recharge. And they want that to be easy. They want it to feel, they probably don't want it to feel like, you know, grandparents' house or like, you know, they don't want it to feel outdated.
Right.
So that refresh, and then you're exactly right with a renovation. If you're doing a heavy renovation or a remodel or even just a refresh, you have to think about the technology way earlier in the process. You don't want to paint yourself into a corner, you know, and really what that means is thinking about cabling even all the way down to that part. The same way that you would call your electrician and say, "Hey, I need an outlet here and an outlet here," or "I'm planning for a TV here." If you want to kind of go in the technology route, you need to have somebody who is a technology expert come and advise you on how to future-proof it. Maybe maybe you're not going to do something right away, but you at least want to have that option later on.
Right. Well, we have two daughters, you know, that live out of town, but they have the freedom to work remotely and they can be in their office, but they can also travel and work remotely somewhere else. Well, if we have them both home, and then I'm using technology, Peggy and Sarah using technology, Audrey and Lydia are like, we've got to have great Wi-Fi here, or speed, to be able to do our jobs while we're visiting you. And that's where the world's changed also.
That's exactly right. And you saw that a lot in 2020. There was just a huge boom of people upgrading their home networks.
Right.
It feels like maybe prior to that, you could get away with the router that your internet service provider gives you with your monthly bill.
Yeah.
And it's just not really that simple anymore. And there's way more demand on the bandwidth and on the speeds that are coming into your house. So you're exactly right. Home office bigger than ever, and with multiple people working in the same house, you have to make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, somebody's going to end up with a failed Zoom call,
Right.
And that's your livelihood. That has to be rock solid.
Right.
So that is another part of, planning. If you're building a house or you're, like we talked about, renovating or refreshing,
Sure.
you can run just a couple of cables and it can change the way your home network functions altogether.
Walk everybody, our viewers, through a way that they can kind of get a feel for what it's going to cost them.
Sure. So there are several different types of projects. First of all, new construction would be, you're doing an addition to your house. It's new construction, or it's a brand new house.
Right.
And then you have a retrofit, which means maybe you're opening up some walls, light renovations. Retrofit means we're kind of taking it as it is and we're going to add on or we're going to replace, that sort of thing. Or you have a remodel, which is kind of in between those two. Mm-hmm. So remodel is going to be you're opening up some walls, you're taking down some walls, that sort of thing. With a new construction project or a remodel project, usually the general rule of thumb would be 3 to 5% of the total budget for the project.
Okay.
So if you're $100,000 project, you're probably $3,000 to $5,000 on technology.
Okay.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah. To do it right.
And that's kind of just your baseline there. You can scale up and scale back from that if you want to, but you probably need to be 3,000 or up from there. If you spend less, you're probably not future proofing, which is what you want to do with any new space. I actually have a link to a technology budget calculator that it's a 20 question questionnaire.
Okay.
And you can, if you're building a new house, it's a great resource to kind of figure out what that sweet spot on the budget would be.
Right. No, that's great. Yeah, we'd love to share that.
There's a link to that budget calculator on our website, automaticAudioVideo.com, or you can just call or text us, and we're happy to walk through that with you too.
Right. And I want to pay you a compliment as well as give a confession here. Prior to Peggy and I getting to know you, we tried to piecemeal it together. We'd have somebody come in and do this portion, somebody come in and do this portion. Highly recommend getting someone like yourself who can just take charge and really show us how it all needs to connect, how it all needs to work together. That was a game changer for us.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think you kind of have to, if somebody in my role has to run that fine line of not being too forward and saying, this is what you have to do, but also not being too passive and maybe not getting the job done.
Right.
To its full extent.
Yeah. When you're coming into home, what do you think are essentials that they need, or additional items that you think make technology even effortless? I'll let you take it.
Absolutely. So just like we did at your house, the first thing that we did was the network.
Yeah.
Right. And I want to just interject right there and say there is this notion that everything's wireless. Everything's wireless now. You can just do it wirelessly. Behind every wireless anything, there is a wire. There is a cable there. I promise
Somewhere.
you, in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
So that's where you start.
Right.
Nothing else that we do in the AV or smart home realm is going to function at its best without a solid network. So a good wired and a wireless network is where we start.
Yeah, I mean, we have Wi-Fi even in the backyard. And
That's right.
I mean, people are blown away by that. But if you've people are on their watching games on their phones, on the TV, an iPad, things that are going on back there.
When you entertain in that space.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so I think that's another thing that really, in the day and age of the smart home, in the day and age of technology, it's technology is more accessible than ever. Back in the day, you had timers.
Right.
So you say this lamp's going to come on at this time, and
Sure.
now you can do all that over the network. It's a security thing. If you're not at home, if you travel a lot, you can make it look like from the street you're at home. You can randomize lights, or you can at least keep the exterior lights on. There are things that happen in the background that make your life easier. And then finally, you need to have a guy. You got to have a guy because this stuff is not always going to work like you think it will.
Right.
And some people are built to tinker with it and mess with it and make it work again and troubleshoot it. Some people just want to have a guy that they can text, they can call and come fix it. Or maybe maybe you can, maybe we can fix it remotely.
It's like I say on the financial planning, wealth management side. We have people come to us all the time saying, I was trying to do my own trading. I was trying to do my own managing of my money, and I've gotten myself in trouble. I need you guys to take it.
Do it for me.
Yes, exactly. You started this business from scratch, and I'm totally amazed how you've done.
Oh, I appreciate it, Greg. And I've gotten to meet and work with really, really cool people like you. You know, you and Peggy and y'all's family, and that's my favorite part of it is the people that I get to meet along the way and serve, really.
Sure.
You know, and I know there's a need for it because we get to the end of the project and somebody says something like, you know, I probably would have gone years without having this, you know, at my disposal or that sort of thing. But one thing I'd like to say is that every project that we do is custom.
Okay.
People think that custom means more expensive, but all that means to me is it's just a solution just for you.
Right.
You know, you don't need the same thing that your neighbor needs.
Right.
Yeah, and so on. And so that's really kind of one of our core values is to listen. That's it. Just listen to the customer. That's all that custom means is it just means that it is created and, you know, specified just for you.
Okay. Right. In terms of your business and your clientele, as a business owner, how have you found your clients? Has it all been word of mouth?
There's been a ton of referrals. We've done just very light social media marketing, and you know,
which is interesting because you're in technology. But yeah.
So it's I mean, it's referrals and just doing a really good job. And I would also say, you know, this is very much a service business. You know, it's not necessarily, we're kind of ride that fine line between being a trades person and being a technology person.
Okay.
Because of the different stages of construction, if it's a retrofit or a remodel or whatever, new construction, those sorts of things. But, you know, if you do a really good job and you take care of your customers on the back side of the project, it just leads to referral after referral.
That's great. And we call this Innovation Mavericks. What do you see 3-4 years down the road that will be essential from a technology standpoint or innovation for homes?
Well, you know, I think really it's going to be a volume thing. I think there's just the sheer volume, sheer number of devices in household. And we've talked a lot about residential. We do have commercial and small business clients too.
What do you see there? I mean,
I mean, on that side of it, you see the point of sale systems, you know, that sort of thing. That it all ties back to the network.
Okay.
So you've got to have a plan, especially when you're a business. If the technology goes down at your business and you can't process a sale, then
we have to move money.
You're not open for business if it's not functioning like that. So that's part of it. But you know, really, I think you know, your book, Better, Richer, Fuller, right? It doesn't say more and more complicated and fancier, you know?
Sure.
So I think it's really, you know, in that same custom project vein, we're trying to keep it very simple. And when people want us to do it for them, it needs to be easy. And that's what I see for the future. I think right now we're probably at an all-time high of the amount of technology people have in their homes. I think maybe we'll start to see a correction.
Yeah.
So there may be actually fewer devices that accomplish
But more streamlined.
Exactly. Yeah. Accomplish more of the goal.
Yeah.
And then just the need for a guy. That's what's going to change in the net.
It's a career path. Yes.
Yeah, and it's been changing the last decade or so, and you'll see more of that over the next decade. So,
sure.
Come 10 years from now, we want the systems to be very streamlined and very simple and easy to use. You pick up a remote, you can watch what you want to watch, listen to what you want to listen to at home.
And control the whole house.
Control the lighting.
Right.
Yeah, and not have to worry about it. But when it does break, you got somebody you can lean on.
Yeah, well, I like the word. I embrace the word every day, simplify. And I look at technology, and you've shown me this on how technology can simplify my life here at work as well as home. And congratulations on your success.
Thanks so much.
We like to highlight business owners because it takes a lot to make that jump, and then also to be passionate about what you do, and you definitely are. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've gotten great information from Elliott. And please remember him if you're here in the Birmingham area. He does a phenomenal job. I can highly recommend that. But also, he is cutting edge. He innovates. And I have deep appreciation for that. Stay tuned with us for the next Innovation Mavericks. We're going to continue doing these. And we hope you have a great rest of the week as we strive here at 5 Plan Partners to make people's lives better, richer, fuller.